With Modern Warfare coming up just 2 weeks out now, there's a lot of things turning heads, some for the good, some for the bad. But amidst all the talk of the new ranking system, the new MTX system, the maps, the modes, the weapons, and all that have been subjected to leaks, there's one thing that I'm still curious on hearing more about the composition of, and while there doesn't seem to be too much out there on the topic of seasons in general, I figured for not only the sake of myself finding out the information that I wanted to know, I figured I'd share it with you for those who are interested. In this video, we'll compile everything that we know of out there and put it into one singular place. Today, I want to tackle the topics of seasons in a range of mediums, including but not limited to how many there are and will there be. Those are two independent things, and you'll see why in a second. At what frequency will they run? What will come along with those seasons? Will there be themes, and will it be tethered to DLC drops? Those are the main portions I want to tackle, but again, we may dive into additional topics if the mind does wander in the moment. But anyways, seasons. With Black Ops 4, seasons or operations were introduced in order to bring content on a more regular basis and in a larger range of content. Whether or not that system lived up to the expectations players may have had about it, well, that's subjective and up to you. But Modern Warfare seems to take this to heart and looks to use it as a cornerstone of providing more content for all players at the same time, so how can we expect that to build off of what we've already seen in Black Ops 4? Turns out we already have a solid lead as to what may be on the horizon. From the Modern Warfare beta game files, there were tidbits from data dumps that were indicative of seasons coming in the game, and surprisingly, there were 5 listed in the beta. Those included the seasons of Broken Arrow, Cyber Attack, Bio-Warfare, Homegrown Terrorism, and Climate War. Now we'll jump into each of what these may mean in a second, but 5 right out of the gate in the beta files of an incomplete product, that's interesting. And I don't mean incomplete in the way of the game's not ready, but in the way that the beta was only a partial build and a cutout of that full thing you'll get at launch, as if it were the roots of a tree being uprooted. You'd still see where those roots were pointing to, but they didn't connect to anything explicitly when they were moved. But 5 in the beta is either one of two things. One, an indication that Infinity Ward really didn't remove much for the beta build of the game, and we actually do have close to that coming in full, or 2, 5 is just the beginning, which is more so where I'm leaning here at this one. We've talked about some of the development here on the channel and the timetables of things that it sometimes takes, where in the past we've discussed that teams are usually about 2 DLC packs ahead, or in that span of time, a few months or so ahead of what's currently on the horizon for the playable public. With launch, it's a little bit different because everyone is focused on shipping the game and having a stable launch. But that doesn't mean development is halted for anything post-launch. They're still very much so looking towards the future and post-launch, and in that regard, it is likely that we end up seeing these potentially being the first 5 seasons, with many more to follow. These may have just been the first 2 to 3 months of Modern Warfare down the line. Only time will tell, but it's interesting for sure. But with that said, what about the frequency of the updates, these seasons here that we may see? If we have 5 potentially laid out already for us, with more coming along the way of the post-launch content season for Modern Warfare, what does that mean in terms of how quickly we'll see them change over? Especially when we consider things that we've recently had talks about seasonal ranks as of late, looking to potentially be that replacement for a prestige system. Surely it can't be that short if people have to have ranks associated with each season. But my guess is more so of this. We'll have it more often than Black Ops 4's changeover, but nothing too absurd where you have a season every other week or something like that. We have been told that DLC will be dropped more frequently than we already had in that frequent rate of Black Ops 4, and if we take a look at the time frames for the majority of events in Black Ops 4, not counting the final operation and the second split of Operation Apocalypse Z, they were all almost exclusively 70 days long, some having splits for a middle point refresh, but the main season, if you will, was mostly 70 days without exception. With 5 out of the way and in the open right now for the beta files, it would seem to prop up that theory of more frequent seasonal changeover compared to Black Ops 4, just for the simple fact that Black Ops 4 only had 6 seasons altogether. We're in that 6th one currently for Operation Dark Divide as we wait for Modern Warfare to launch. At this rate, my best theory, which is simply an educated guess and in no way, shape, or form should be taken as gospel, it's just the thought that I have and what I'd imagine we'd end up seeing, but I think that we'd end up seeing probably 10 to 12 seasons within Modern Warfare. This accounting for the 5 previously found before launch in the beta files, and also accounting for those more ones that will inevitably be put into the game later on down the line as more and more are created and as time presses on into the later months of the game. But if there were to be a solid 10 to 12 seasons, that theoretically could follow the old COD Elite DLC model, but without the discrepancies in the release timetables between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, given the measures that Infinity Ward are taking to bring content to all players at the same time. For those not necessarily familiar with the Elite model, it was a monthly content drop that would, given the month, provide players with DLC MP maps, Spec Ops missions, and face-off maps of 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 status. And admittedly, that should be something that sounds familiar to you because it's the exact same type of modeled content that we see in this year's Modern Warfare. The only difference being that Spec Ops will have full-blown operations in addition to those individual missions, which may make for a mix of DLC as well. So if there was ever a time to see a DLC model in terms of the frequency of drops mimicked, well, that Elite model would fit perfectly with what we may see here with Modern Warfare. That's all speculation, but it answers the question I think will be prominently brought up is, will the seasons be associated with DLC? I absolutely see that being the case. Based on that explanation and that theory and my assumption, I would imagine that yes, we will be seeing seasons be that sort of adaptation for new DLC launches as well. Thematically, we may see some drastic changes to the game over the course of each season as well, similar to what we saw with Black Ops 4 with aesthetic, uniform approach and all, with maybe even map design being catered and based around that seasonal theme. But what we could end up seeing, because we know of Broken Arrow and Cyber Attack, maybe that's some sort of covert operation with special uniforms and other stuff being the poster child of that loot. Biowarfare could introduce us to some gas masks and other items. Things like homegrown terrorism could be the inconspicuous things, like a hooded operator with street clothes for outfits and such. And then climate war could be something where we see various different camos like a snow ghillie suit or something like that. So you could definitely play in with the themes here of that and see that maybe this is a unique take on Modern Warfare with each individual season coming later on during the year. And the final thing that I have a question with personally that I'm intrigued to see personally is, what will it come along with? What will each season bring to the table for players and what they can experience? I think we can break this down into 3 different things: a battle pass, challenges, and potentially organic ways to unlock weaponry. Let's talk about the battle pass first, because that's something that was mentioned in passing as of yesterday amongst a bunch of leaks, but there really wasn't anything in terms of information that gave us a solid idea as to what we'd end up seeing. Now, this might be something that this is in conjunction with the seasonal rank, where maybe you have something where previously we'd end up seeing, say, a paid and a free model for a battle pass like in Fortnite, like in COD Mobile, like in Destiny, where you end up having tiers to rank up, but the free stuff comes at maybe say every other rank, every 3rd or 4th rank. But if you end up doing that paid battle pass, then you can end up getting everything else. The way that in my mind I immediately jump to is maybe this is a combination of what we've seen plus what we haven't, where you end up unlocking things as you rank up in your seasonal rank, which is that air quote free wing of the battle pass, but then underneath it you may have the actual, say, tier system from Black Ops 4, but hopefully better, in which it offers seasonal items that you end up unlocking for that with each individual unlock. That may be a shot in the dark, I have absolutely no idea, but I came across a Reddit thread the other day that showcased a little bit of Destiny 2's tier system, and in my mind it kind of just clicked. I was like, well, what if one's your actual rank, one is your battle pass rank, and you get things intermittently for each? I thought that'd be cool, but I guess we'll see. But a battle pass is supposedly coming to Modern Warfare. We already know that challenges are going to be a thing also. That was something that we saw detailed in the leaks from the Gaming Revolution, where we'll have 100+ challenges every single season to complete, and each will offer an XP modifier, going towards your seasonal rank then at that point. And to me, I think this may play very similarly to how Fortnite has its own season's challenges, where maybe you have week-long challenges, and every single week you have to complete those, and when you complete, say, 7 of 10 weeks or so, theoretically, you end up getting an exclusive seasonal uniform, camo, weapon blueprint, something like that, that rewards you for that grind throughout the entire season. That might be something that comes along with it, but you also will end up getting ribbons and things that come along as well that we already know of. And additionally, I think that we may see those organic ways to unlock weaponry. As for what that may actually be, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe that's the exclusive unlock if you were to have challenges that you have to progress through the entire season. Maybe it's something that is in a battle pass at the end of that We don't exactly know, but we do know that right now it's said to be a way for players to organically unlock the weapons. Whether or not that sticks, again, that's something for time to tell, but I'd imagine that and probably other stuff coming along with the seasons also on top of what we've already discussed. So I think we're gonna wrap it up. I think that's what we're gonna call it. I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on how many seasons we may see, what that frequency may be like, what the themes may be, and of course, what comes along with it and if it's tied to DLC. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Of course, this is all open-ended still. This could be completely nullified and proven wrong as of tomorrow. It could be something that maybe it comes to pass. But regardless, I wanted to share my thoughts on the current items out there currently in the discussion pool for Call of Duty Modern Warfare as we round ever so closely to it. We're rounding in on that 2-week mark, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare. We're going to be seriously killing the content here in the next couple of weeks leading up to the launch and of course then thereafter. So hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get kind of comments out of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But let's get out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Minus an espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.